everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about maintaining the pet Pomeranian's coat. I get asked a lot how difficult maintaining such a dense double coat is day in and day out, week to week, and what that routine looks like. This will be a pretty quick video. I will give you guys a few tips and tricks, but I do plan to make a more in-depth video in the future as well. I also plan to discuss the 3 biggest questions that I always get as a Pomeranian lover, owner, breeder. Is it time consuming, hard to brush them, and is it expensive? So let's just jump right into this. These are all the tools that I use most commonly. Everything on the left side of the table is what I use day in and day out most often to really maintain my dogs and keep them healthy. Everything on the right side of the table is a bit more optional. Going left to right, first is the slicker brush, metal comb, clippers, nail clippers, quick stop, straight and curved shears, dematting razor comb, thinning shears, and of course, dog perfume. And this is super random, but I use this bag to house all my brushes and stuff. It is so cute. I will post a link to the bag and all of my supplies, my little portable grooming table and little grooming noose. All of those links will be posted down below in the description. Now that we have all of that out of the way, what brushes that we're going to use, I am primarily going to use the slicker brush. This is Simba. He is my pet only boy. He is pretty much all brushed out, but I just wanted to hop on here and just do a really quick video and answer some of the most common questions that I get and just kind of show you guys like what I do just to maintain the coat and check for any mats. I brush my guys every few days, maybe once a week. If I'm really busy, every other week. And yes, they do develop some tiny mats. Usually behind the ears is most common. Sometimes right behind their like armpit kind of area on their front legs. It's not a big deal. You can even just take your fingers and gently try to pull the mat apart. If it's a somewhat new mat, it will come apart kind of easily. And then you can just take your brushes and just gently brush it through. Worst comes to worst, you can just take your clippers, the pink clippers, and just very gently shave out the mat. Now you do want to avoid shaving their body. There's a lot of talk about shaving the double coat and that it's not good for the coat and that it could even potentially cause baldness or alopecia. I honestly don't know too much about that, but I did just want to mention that. I have personally not had any issues, and I'm really careful not to shave them as much as I can, but I also prefer to shave over trying really hard to get the mat out. There are a few things that you can try to do that I will show you guys in a separate video about like dematting and what to do and how to try to save the coat. So I want to just kind of touch on all the tools that I showed in the beginning of this video. The slicker brush, which again is mostly what I'm doing with Simba. Currently I am doing what's called line brushing, where you push the hair up and it creates a line. That way you can really get to the bottom of it. And you'll see here I'm gently grabbing the hair out of the way as well. And it doesn't have to be like a perfect line, just as long as you can really kind of get down to the skin with the brush and just kind of get everywhere. Because if you just run the brush directly over it, it's just not going to get the underneath part. Now, I'm sure that's kind of confusing. I'll try to show a demonstration of this at some point too. That's a little bit more in depth. But I really recommend line brushing for these double-coated breeds. The next brush item that I wanted to mention is the metal comb. It's great to use after using the slicker brush. The slicker brush is great for removing any of the dead undercoat that is shedding out, that's stuck essentially, and can create those mats, which is why I keep cleaning my brush out of so much hair on Simba. He is such a good boy. He is absolutely amazing. And he wasn't always like this. I will make another video too about like prepping your puppy or even just in general like an adult dog for grooming and how to work with them, work through some challenges, because he was not always this easy. He was very squirmy as a baby, very playful, and he did not stand for very long. He would constantly sit or he'd just try to play with the brushes. He was kind of crazy. So again, I typically really just use the slicker brush to maintain these coats. The biggest issue with the Pomeranian coat is the fact that it's so dense and it sheds all year round. The biggest shedding period would be in the fall and the spring, when the winter coat is shedding out in the spring, and when the summer coat is shedding out in the fall, transitioning into winter. A handful of times I'll use my metal comb just to run it through and see if I missed any mats. It can help kind of detect where mats are more easily. And then at that point, you can either use your fingers, the brush gently, the comb gently to just very carefully try to pull the mat apart. You never want to force the brush through it. That can really hurt the dog and then start to create behavioral problems when it comes to grooming, because they will definitely remember those times when it hurt. Again, this is a great example of line brushing. You can see the line that I formed, and I'm just gently working my way up. And occasionally I will grab the hair just so that the skin doesn't pull back and forth, and make it just a little bit more comfortable for him. I'm not gripping the hair hard at all. I'm literally just holding it just to kind of counterbalance the gentle tugging on the other side from the brush. Now, I also use the clippers not only just for mats, but I also use them to clean up what's called the sanitary. So it's right around where his butt is, and down in his groin area. That area can get a little bit dirty for Poms, and I recommend just getting some clippers and just cleaning, scooping out that area. At first, they're very confused why, a vibrating weird thing is touching them, but they do get used to it pretty easily. It will greatly minimize dirty butts after going to the bathroom. You'll notice that they're just a lot cleaner back there. It can also help prevent infections from brewing in their groin area, so that's always a major win. Now, the other two items that were on the left side of the table that I recommend that you buy, it's not necessarily for like everyday use. You don't need to do their nails every day. I do my guys either every other week or once a month, but I am always keeping a close eye on their nails. Right from puppies, I'm always handling their feet. I'm looking at their nails. I'm checking on how they look, if there's any broken ones, if any of them are curling so much that they're going to be growing back into the foot, which is obviously a major problem. But all that will be in a much more in-depth video that I'll do in the future. How to trim up some Grinch paw pads too, some Grinchy feet. As you can see, I'm trimming up Simba's little Grinchy toes. That's not something that you have to do for the pet. It's just something that I'm doing just for Simba. I like the practice. I show my other Pomeranian, Kovu, so Simba ends up kind of being my test dummy for certain things that I want to just get better at, because I do not show this boy, my little cream boy Simba, shown in this video, but I do like to just kind of hone in my skills on it. Now, the last product that was on the left side of the table is called Quick Stop. It is a product that helps you stop bleeding if the nail is cut a little too short. Now, the items on the right side of the table are the straight and curved shears. Again, I was using them earlier to trim up Simba's feet. That's really more so for like people who show, and I just like to practice personally. The other items on the right side of the table, the dematting razor comb. I actually really recommend this. Granted, you don't have to have this to maintain a nice coat, but I find it's probably like my last attempt at saving a coat before going to my shavers and just shaving out a small mat. I find it works really, really well. They're essentially little knives with a dull side, and you always make sure the sharp side is away from them. And I will show that in a separate video as well. Again, it's not mandatory, it's optional, but it definitely is a cool option to use it instead of directly going to the shaver after trying to pull it apart with your fingers and maybe a comb and the slicker brush. If all of that doesn't work, I typically go to my de-shedding razor comb, which really, really helps. And the last two items that were on the right side of the table at the beginning of this video are the thinning shears and perfume. Dog perfume is obviously optional. The one that I showed kind of partially, I'll have the links to all of these products below as well in the description if you're interested in any of them. The perfume, it smells amazing, but it is kind of strong. So if you're sensitive to smells, maybe skip that part. So let's go over the three biggest questions that I typically am asked as a Pomeranian owner and preservation breeder. Is grooming the pet Pomeranian time consuming? Now, personally, I do all my grooming again myself, including the day in and day out grooming. Those that will get their Pomeranian professionally groomed at a dog grooming salon every 2 weeks to every once a month, they can get away with not brushing them at all at home. I don't necessarily recommend that. I do think it's good for them to not only have a brush run over them for maintaining the coat, but also for staying used to it, so it's not a complete shock to them when they get to a breeder and the breeder is using all these different combs on them. Now, the second question is grooming a pet Pomeranian really difficult? Personally, I am still pretty new at this. I've only been doing this for about a year or so now. I really don't feel like it's hard. As you can see, I mostly maintain their coat with the slicker brush because it just helps prevent the matting, and then you can bait them and you're pretty much done. You just do their nails and you just keep an eye on everything, and that's about it. So I don't necessarily feel like it's difficult, but I can totally understand this question because in the beginning, I was super intimidated by a double coat. It's so thick, it's so hard to feel mats sometimes when you're so new to it, but you do definitely get used to it. Work with your dog, and try not to stress too much about it. Just enjoy the process. Now, the last question that I usually always get is it expensive to keep up maintaining their coat? I would say yes and no. No, if you do it at home yourself, if you buy nail clippers, the slicker brush, some dog shampoo, dog conditioner, you honestly could really just kind of do everything at home pretty affordably. I would say maybe under 50 bucks. And your shampoo and conditioner will last a fairly long time, especially the kind that I use, and I'll link it down below. And I'm also going to do a video about it. Girl with the Dogs is an amazing channel. Shout out to her. She has wonderful products. And on the flip side, if you get your Pomeranians professionally groomed, yes, it can be kind of costly, especially if you have multiple. It can be anywhere from $50 per groom per dog, which is on the low end, upwards of like $100. And also, too, they may have to charge extra if your dog is very matted. So that's another good reason to maintain their coat as well, like you saw me doing at the beginning of this video. Just using a slicker brush, running my fingers down to their skin everywhere. By doing that, you can also catch if they have any cuts or swelling or anything else going on. You can more easily find that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe. It helps to tell YouTube that I am doing a good job and that I should keep making these videos. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any further questions down below, if you want me to expand on anything, let me know. I did truly try to make this video a short one, but it definitely got out of hand. But I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. I will be doing more detailed videos. Again, this was a bit more of like an overview, kind of glimpse into what daily maintaining of a double-coated Pomeranian would look like. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, and don't forget to check out the products that I left links to in the description, and I hope you have a great day.